Ever wake up in the morning and think, ooh, my face looks extra puffy today? Here's what you can do about it. And make sure you stick around till the end of this video because I'm gonna share something that I do for my patients in my office to help with their facial puffiness. I'm Dr. Sam Ellis, and I'm a board-certified dermatologist in Northern California, and I'm here to help you understand your skin and find products that work for you. So if you like that type of content, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. So I feel like if you clicked on this video, you may be what I would consider a puffy person. There are just some people who are genetically predisposed to looking a bit swollen, especially when they wake up in the morning. Oftentimes when people are prone to puffiness, it's actually been something that's been happening since they were like a teenager, but it can get worse as you get older, especially when you combine puffiness with some of the aging changes that we start to see in the face. When you're puffy as a little kid, no one really cares, but as you get older and you have maybe some eye bags or some wrinkles going on, and then you combine that with puffiness, no one really wants that. And today we're gonna cover not only tips to reduce puffiness instantaneously, but also my tips for reducing being prone to puffiness in the long run. I also think if we're gonna talk about puffiness, you need to understand a little bit about why that happens. When you wake up and your face looks full, it really is due to fluid or water retention in the face. Sometimes it's in the superficial layers of the skin, but it can also be in the deeper layers as well as in your lymphatics. Most often it's due to water retention, which can be due to things like eating really salty foods. Being dehydrated can actually make you hold water in your face, as well as hormonal changes that happen, especially for women. There are just certain times in your menstrual cycle where you're going to retain water. Also, things like poor sleep or even the position that you're sleeping in can influence how puffy your face looks. And being in a high stress environment can cause you to release more cortisol, which is a stress hormone that also makes you retain water. Lastly, if you have seasonal allergies, that can cause a lot of congestion in the vasculature of your face, so the blood vessels, and that can really affect how fluid drains from your face while you're sleeping and throughout the course of the day. So let's say you wake up in the morning and your face looks puffy. What are some quick things you can do to reduce that swelling? Number one, expose your face and your skin to something cold. Cold causes your blood vessels to constrict and can immediately help take down puffiness. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. Some are more elegant and refined than others. In college, we would literally fill a bowl with ice water and just dunk our faces in for a few seconds, and that was actually really helpful. Aside from that cold being anti-inflammatory, that little shock of ice actually can calm your nervous system as well for additional soothing. Now, if you don't want to dunk your face in a bowl of water, which I wouldn't blame you, there are more elegant ways to expose your skin to cold. For example, ice globes and ice rollers have become really popular over the last 5 years. If you just go on Amazon, there are so many different options. I was recently sent one in PR that I really like from this French company called Doré. I'm probably pronouncing that totally wrong, but it's just a really nice size and shape, and you leave it in the freezer for about 15 minutes and then you pull it out, you roll it over your face, and it's really soothing. And the nice thing about using it in a roller form is you're not just exposing your skin to cold, but you're also getting some massage in there as well, which is another thing that can help with puffiness. I also really like a roller technique because it also encourages you to not leave that cold compress in just one area. If you overexpose your skin to cold, it can be damaging. And aside from using cold, if you want to do something else to help depuff your face, doing some type of facial massage or even lymphatic drainage massage can also be helpful. And to do this, you really don't need any fancy tools. You absolutely could use your fingers or your hands, but you could also use something like a gua sha tool or, again, your ice roller. There are actually a ton of great tutorials here on YouTube if you want someone to walk you through a nice lymphatic drainage massage for your face. But I also want to remind you, like, when you have puffiness in your face, it's not always lymphatic fluid. It can just be water, but truly any type of massage is going to encourage that water to drain from those areas. And one quick note about ice, but also about massage, you always want to be really delicate around the eye area. That's one of the areas where we see puffiness happen the most because that tissue is so thin. Any additional water or other fluid retention there is going to be very visible, but you never want to be pressing hard on those areas. And then my last quick fix for reducing puffiness, although this isn't like immediate, is to go on a walk or to get some exercise. Increasing the circulation in your body is going to help drain that excess fluid from your face. And truly just like stand up, get up out of your bed because gravity is going to help as well. Now, one question I get a lot is, well, is there anything I could be incorporating into my skincare to make my skin less puffy? And the answer to that is probably not. And the reason for that is that puffiness is existing deeper than the superficial layers of your skin. So anything that you're applying topically is really not going to influence that. I suppose the one caveat to this is maybe using caffeine in your topical products. Although there's not a ton of great data to support it, caffeine can increase blood flow. That's why you often see it incorporated in things like eye creams, but I think the improvement is pretty modest, if any at all. That being said, if you want to try some caffeine in your skincare routine and you don't want to break the bank, The Ordinary has a nice little 5% caffeine serum that you can try out. But now we really have to have a heart-to-heart here, because if you want to truly make meaningful changes in depuffing your skin, it's going to involve some lifestyle changes. And I think you probably knew this was coming. Like, no one says, hey, I've been getting tons of sleep, I've been eating well, I've been exercising, and I'm still really puffy. Like, usually you know there is something in your lifestyle that may be contributing to seeing that swelling in your face. First and foremost, making sure that you're getting enough sleep and that you're getting high quality sleep. It feels obvious to say, but sleep is really restorative. It helps calm your nervous system. It helps lower your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone. And yes, we all need cortisol in our system to survive. But when you have excess levels of that stress hormone, it can cause you to retain water. And getting proper sleep is really key to regulating that. Also, the position that you sleep in is going to make a big difference. If you are a face down sleeper, gravity is going to be pooling fluid in your face all night long. So of course you're going to wake up a little bit more puffy. And this is coming from a side sleeper here. I cannot sleep in the perfect position, which would be on your back with your head maybe slightly elevated. But if puffiness really bothers you, that is something you can work towards. They do have specialized pillows to help train you to sleep on your back. But one tip that I've gotten from a patient is to use a weighted blanket over kind of your arms and torso area, because that can be very comforting. A lot of people find that they can't sleep on their back because they don't feel comforted or cocooned. But when you use a weighted blanket, it kind of takes some of that away. If your sleep is totally in check and you're still puffy, of course you also need to look to your diet. And I don't like using the word diet because I feel like it means that I'm going to put restrictions on you. I never want to tell you what you can eat or what you can drink, but when you make certain choices with your diet, it can really affect how your skin looks, including how puffy your skin is. First and foremost, you want to make sure that you are staying hydrated, but also cutting back a little bit on salty foods. Salt draws water into your tissues, and if you have too much salt in your diet, you're more likely to look puffy. And salt is hidden in a lot of things. Even though things might not taste salty, they can contain a lot of sodium, especially when you're looking at processed foods like deli meat or freezer meals, or when you eat out. Of course, that restaurant food is yummy. It has so much salt in it. I know it can be really hard to not eat out, especially if you have a busy lifestyle or maybe you don't know how to cook, but learning those skills to me is not just about your skin health, it's about your overall health and wellness. And when you cook for yourself, you are in so much more control of what goes into your food. You have so much more awareness around it, and it's going to help your health overall. Aside from reducing your salt intake, you can also think about increasing your potassium intake. When you eat things that are higher in potassium, your body is less likely to hold on to salt. That's just how your kidneys work, and so you're less likely to retain water. So things like bananas, avocados, potatoes, coconut water, these are all really nice ways to get potassium into your diet. And aside from looking at what you are eating, you also need to take a look at what you are drinking. I would highly, highly recommend that you cut out or cut down on your alcohol consumption, not only for your overall health, but specifically for your puffiness. I'm not here to be an alcohol basher, but alcohol really is so bad for you. There is no amount of alcohol that is truly considered safe or good for your health. And of course, you always need to make decisions not only for your health, but also for the type of life you want to live. But if you could do one thing for your overall health that would absolutely improve it, it would be to cut out alcohol or reduce it significantly. Alcohol can make you puffy for a lot of different reasons. It can cause you to be dehydrated and to hold on to fluid in your face. It can disrupt your sleep significantly. It can also lead you to make poor dietary choices, which can lead to increased sodium intake or weight gain. So if you needed a little more motivation to cut down on your alcohol intake, here it is. Aside from looking at your sleep and your diet, it's really important that if you have seasonal allergies, you get those under control if you feel like they're contributing to your puffiness. Incorporating an antihistamine into your daily routine, whether it's something like Zyrtec or Allegra, can really help with overall swelling. Also, if you are chronically congested, thinking about doing some nasal irrigation, either with a neti pot or using a saline nasal spray to reduce how congested you are and how much fluid you're holding into your face, can be super beneficial. And with any of the things I'm talking about, sleep, diet, alcohol consumption, managing your allergies, being consistent is so key. It's not 1 or 2 days of healthy eating that are going to take away your puffiness, or a few days of exercising, or a couple nights of good sleep. These are long-term changes that, when done consistently, will not only make you less puffy, but benefit so many other aspects of your health. Now, before we wrap this video up, I do want to talk about one last thing that I do in my office to help my patients with their puffiness. So as you know, I am a cosmetic dermatologist. I do a lot of filler for patients, and I'm not here to demonize filler, but hyaluronic acid-based fillers can cause people to hold on to a little excess fluid in their face. And for some people, that's not going to be noticeable at all, or it might even benefit their appearance. But for some people, it can lead to chronic puffiness. I find this is especially the case for people who maybe had filler 5 or even 10 years ago, especially if it was placed in the upper face or around the eyes. Back then, we thought that filler dissolved over the course of 1 to 2 years max, and so we didn't really think about the longer-term consequences of having filler in those areas, especially as your face ages. And what I found is I have people coming in their 50s and 60s who have a lot of swelling around their face, and when I ask them, hey, did you have filler in your tear troughs? Sometimes they'll say no, or they'll be like, yeah, but it was like 10 years ago. But sometimes I can tell that the swelling that they have around their eyes is due to that. And luckily, these changes are not permanent. We have an enzyme called hyaluronidase that we can inject to break down filler. And I can think of many, many patients now over the course of my career who have come in, maybe got filler a really long time ago, are dealing with some weird swelling around their eyes, or maybe something they didn't even notice, but it was something that was kind of like bothering me during their cosmetic consultation. And when we go in and dissolve some of that old filler, their puffiness gets so much better. It's something where patients even come back to my office like a month later and go, Dr. Ellis, you changed my life. Like, I thought I was going to be puffy forever, and this totally reversed it. Filler can be absolutely wonderful for helping people achieve their aesthetic goals, but sometimes it's no longer serving someone's face, and in that case, you should reverse it. If you're a puffy person and you're watching this and you have any hacks that you do at home or any products that you've tried that have really helped with your puffiness, please let us all know in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video, and I'll catch you next time.